That show was a lot better than This Year in Music, that's for sure.
Welcome back to Listography. Jason, Joe, and Krams are here getting together to talk about the year so far, 2020, our favorite albums, songs, and things we're looking forward to in the remainder of the year. I think it's been a good year so far. I know Joe does not. Kram, how do you feel the year is going musically?
I think it's pretty good. I don't know if it's just because of the pandemic and the lockdown situation, but it feels kind of thin. That might just be because my music life is different. You know, I had about 9 shows from March and April that I wanted to go to that got wiped away. And because we've been doing the albums of the year and the listographies, there's been a lot of going back. So like new music isn't at the front of my mind, but I will say this, there's been a lot of really good albums, a lot of great albums, no really masterpiece to me so far. I basically use in my index like a 4-star rating system, and I've got a bunch of 3.5s so far this year, which are great albums. Like that's what I consider a great album, but just not quite like a masterpiece yet. But that could change. I mean, I'm still listening to a lot of the albums that I were listening to 3 or 4 months ago. That could build, they could decline. There could be stuff that comes out the rest of the year that hits it. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. My favorite stuff is a nice mix of some lesser known stuff. And then I think there's some really good pop heavy hitters that put out some pretty good albums. You know, like the new Childish Gambino's not bad. I like the Weeknd album a good bit. The new Tame Impala album is one of my favorites. So I think it's pretty good.
All right. Do you have an official list or anything you'd like to share? Top picks so far?
Yeah. I don't have them in any order, but I've got 8 contenders right now, which I think are kind of in the running for what will make my final 5 so far. Again, just half of the year in. I've got Color Theory by Soccer Mommy, Mutable Set by Blake Mills, The Slow Rush by Tame Impala, Fetch the Bolt Cutters by Fiona Apple, Harkin by Harkin. Got the new Perfume Genius album. I've got Notes on a Conditional Form by the 1975, and I've got the new album by The Weeknd, After Hours. If I had to pick the winner right now, I couldn't, but I would probably say I might be leaning towards Notes on a Conditional Form, but that's really early contention, so we'll see.
Joe, you want to hit us with some negativity?
I'd love to, Jason. Well, I go by the old-fashioned 10-point scale when I'm doing my reviews. And so far this year, there's a bunch of 7s. It's like straight 7s across the board. I have 2 picks that I would consider like very good albums, and that's PC Camplight's latest and Rina Sawayama's debut, which I really liked. That's really the only album I've heard this year that's kind of like surprised me with kind of a new sound, something different. Pretty much a lot of disappointment for me. Didn't really like the latest Lady Gaga that much. Didn't really like Fiona Apple's latest Fetch the Bolt Cutters at all, which is surprising because I really like Fiona Apple. I didn't like Rough and Rowdy Ways at all. I thought it was just not good. But I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan, so I'm not surprised I didn't like it. And even Neil Young's, you'd think a Neil Young 70s album would kind of be right up my alley, but Homegrown was good, but comparatively speaking, if you want to go back to the 70s and like compare it to something like Harvest or On the Beach, it's just not even close. To kind of see why he shelved it. Very kind of uneven, some good tracks, but there's this weird like spoken word one that's just really bad.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that album yet. Have you listened to it, Jason?
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was good. Not like my favorite Neil Young record or anything like that, but I thought it was a good listen.
Yeah, I mean, not that it's terrible, but it's, a 7. The 1975, which I really hated the album at first, then I gave it a second listen because Kramser made me, and I liked it a bit more, but again, a 7, not as good as their other stuff. Dua Lipa, I like Future Nostalgia, I don't really like, but I like Carly Rae Jepsen's Dedicated Side B, but again, a lot of albums that are just not as good as albums I've heard from the same artists in the past 5 years. A lot of stuff I haven't listened to, though. I haven't listened to like the latest Phoebe Bridgers or Rose City Band or Run the Jewels, Perfume Genius. So there's a lot of stuff that I kind of need to catch up on, but it's not looking promising so far.
I don't think you're going to like the Perfume Genius album. That's just my intuition.
Probably not.
I didn't like the Lady Gaga album that much either. I do like Lady Gaga a big bit. There are very few big pop stars that I like, and that one was disappointing. So was the Charlie XCX album, was pretty disappointing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone really likes Gray, the Moses Sumney album, who I don't really know who that is, but I did listen to it, and it didn't do a lot for me either. So those are kind of my big disappointments so far.
I like Moses Sumney, and I've only listened to the first half of Gray, but I do like it. I have a ton of records that I love. I don't know. I do think it's maybe the year has been weakened a little bit by the pandemic and records being pushed back. So there's quite a few records on the horizon that were supposed to already be out that I'm excited for. I still think there's been a lot of good stuff. And I also think there's been a lot of interesting stuff that artists have been releasing, not necessarily official albums, but just putting out on Bandcamp for fans, things they've been working on while in lockdown, that have been, if not the most amazing albums, still very interesting and kind of cool for fans to check out. I guess I'll just run through my list a little bit and just kind of throw things out there, things that I've liked. The new Sondre Lerche record is really good. Like Joe said, he hasn't listened to the Phoebe Bridgers yet, but I like that record a lot. Jason Isbell, Logan Ledger, the new Real Estate. I don't know. Real Estate is a band that I think, they were at a point where they were like headlining festivals, but they still don't feel like a lot of people really give them the respect that they deserve. And I like their new record a lot. New Kyle Forrester record's really good. I like the new Future Birds, Dustin Loveless, Girl Skin, the new Jonathan Wilson record, the new Haim record, M. Ward, Nadia Reid.
I didn't even know M. Ward has a new record.
Yeah, there's a really good, it's probably his best in a while. It's called Migration Stories. A lot of good kind of story songs on there.
I don't think I've listened to a new Real Estate album in probably since their second or third album.
I mean, they kind of do what they do. It's kind of just jangly guitar tunes, but I think they're really good at it. Richard Edwards has a really good new record out. He was the sort of the main force behind Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos. And then you got a bunch of stuff that I had on my staff picks, like Becca Mancari, Phantom Planet, Mark Fredson, Muzz, Woods, Honey Harper, Waxahachie, Andy Shaw, Laura Marling, and just like a whole ton of Daniel Romano records. And, I think I'm with you. What did you say was your number one, Cram?
I think my right now, and this is way too early to tell, but it's like a race between Perfume Genius and 1975 for me.
Yeah, I think Perfume Genius right now, if I had to give it out, it would be that. Waxahachie might be my number two, but those two are kind of the top for me.
The Waxahachie album's all right. It's the one that you really love that I think I'm not on the same page as. I think it's okay. Yeah, I listened to the new Perfume Genius this morning. Probably the first time I listened to it in a month. It's really damn good. I think Without You, it might be a contender for my favorite song of the year so far.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Mills, his production is amazing.
That said, I do think that when I look at all of my albums that are like my heavy hitters, I think production is amazing. There's so much good production right now, and atmosphere is such a big part of music. And I'm not complaining about that, but I do wish there was a little bit more stripped down stuff available. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just not a whole lot of mellow, raw.
I'd like
things.
some actual rock music. Be nice, but I don't think I'm going to get that ever again. Although I do like Pearl Jam's latest. I did forget about that one.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that one too. I think I only listened to it once, but I liked it.
I think it's definitely my favorite of theirs in a while. I haven't ranked their albums lately, but it's probably my favorite since Riot Act maybe. I think it's a pretty good return to form.
It's better than Lightning Bolt.
It's way better than Lightning Bolt. I think it's better than Riot Act, but I don't think it's better than some of the records that came after Riot Act, like the Self-Titled or Backspacer.
I think it's better than well, it might be the same as Backspacer. It's definitely not better than Self-Titled. I really like Self-Titled a lot. Me and Joe went to that tour. That was a great show.
Was.
You guys got any releases coming on the horizon that you're looking forward to the most?
For me, the one that I'm probably going to get to soon is the new EP by Animal Collective. I'm a huge Animal Collective fan. I have a bad habit of not looking ahead that much. It's more just like I'll check in Saturday what was released Friday, or I'll look at a list of stuff that's coming out for the month, but I don't really pay attention to it. So, and then to be honest, I ask you, Jason, a lot what you're looking forward to, and I go off that a good bit too.
There are a couple for me. The new Kanye West. I do love Kanye, so I'm interested to see what direction he's going in, because I wasn't a huge fan of whatever the last one was. I can't even remember at this point. All his kind of collaboration ones with like Kid Cudi and all those guys. Lana Del Rey, she has a new one coming out sometime. My Morning Jacket, pretty much about it. Neon Indian supposed to have one out at some point. So
I'm not a big Neon Indian fan, but if there's one thing we accomplish in 2020, Joe, it's got to be to get Jason on the Lana Del Rey bandwagon.
I don't dislike her. She's fine. I just don't get why everyone's so enamored with her and just completely worship her. She's not that
worship her. I just think that of the contemporary pop sort of whatever genre she is, she's at the top of the heap.
When we get to albums of the year for the 2010 to 2019 decade, she's going to have a couple that she might be like a 2, maybe even a 3-time winner for me in the decade. So
whenever she releases a record, if she breaks my top 100, she barely does. There's so many other great female singer-songwriters that I'd rather listen to, like Phoebe Bridgers or basically any of them in Boy Genius, Lucy Dacus or Julian Baker. She comes way down the list for me, but she's fine. I don't dislike her.
I forgot My Morning Jacket had a new one slated. I think that's just because I just really miss the early My Morning Jacket, and I'll listen to it for sure, but I know it's not going to be It Still Moves or Z or At Dawn. So if it blows me away, great, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
So for me, my most anticipated releases coming Friday, hopefully, should be the new Margo Price and the new Rufus Wainwright records, which I'm pretty excited for. Going to be a new Pretenders record this month. Courtney Marie Andrews has a new record coming out, which would be another female singer-songwriter that I like a lot more than Lana Del Rey. And then probably my most anticipated is going to be like the Lemon Twigs, Bully, and Bright Eyes all have records coming out August 21st. Also looking forward to new Blitzen Trapper. Sufjan Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Berninger, from the lead singer from The National, has a solo record coming out in October, which I'm also looking forward to. So,
I did not like the recent National album from a year or two ago that much. So
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Did you listen to the Rufus Wainwright single that's out?
I didn't listen to like a song, but I watched like a behind the scenes documentary about the making of the record, and it had like clips of all the songs in it, and it sounds pretty cool. Anything else you guys want to add about 2020?
It's the worst music year ever. I will definitely, I don't even think it's close so far. I say that every year, but it always proves me right. So I'm just going to keep saying it until something good comes out.
I don't know. 1742 was pretty weak.
I don't know. There's probably some classical composers, Bach or somebody, that I like a lot more. I'll take Bach and Beethoven over anything coming out this year, that's for sure.
I'm going to stick to my assertion that 1990 is the worst ever, and 2020 has been solid so far. I think it's not even near the bottom of the worst years ever. Anyways, leave your thoughts below in the comments. Let us know what you think of the year so far. Do you like it? Do you not? What records have you enjoyed? Which ones have been disappointments? Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.